Good morning. Always nice to welcome you to 3+U. We enjoy bringing the show your way each and every weekday morning. And part of the fun for us when we come to work every day is that we've got 5 or 6 guests who are going to be here, each with their own expertise and fun to share with us and ultimately you as well as you watch. So we're going to begin the show this morning with Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg from Ahlberg Audiology, who always has a great way of graciously presenting concerns when it comes to your hearing. But this one I think is a really biggie, Tiffany, because you're talking about tinnitus. And if that is something that you struggle with, it can be, it can be a real difficulty to overcome. Is that fair to say?
It's an emotional stress for people to have to deal with this. You know, for some people have it and it's not bad, and other people have it and it does affect them more. I think the numbers are 32% of the general population deal with tinnitus, and 80% of people with hearing loss deal with tinnitus.
32%, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
And so you do not, the two do not necessarily go hand in hand. Your hearing can be fine, but you can still have the tinnitus?
Occasionally. Occasionally I'll see someone that will have normal hearing for what I test. So, you know, this is kind of getting into more of the hearing part of it, but the human ear hears from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Whenever I do a test in my office, I'm usually testing from 250 hertz out to 8,000 hertz. Okay. So there's a large range of hearing that we do not test, and so there is a likelihood that someone may have a high frequency hearing loss, ultra high frequency hearing loss, and this is causing the tinnitus, something I'm not able to identify with the hearing tests we do in our office.
Do we know what causes it?
Well, it's the brain is used to perceiving sounds in certain frequencies. Okay. And whenever that hearing is gone, or it's not as good as it used to be, then the brain is looking for sounds in that region. So
it's like a repetitive?
Well, and so the brain kind of like an amplifier turns up that frequency region, and there's this internal sound, and so it makes the brain happy to have a frequency in that it's perceiving, even though it's not a real frequency. So it's an internal frequency. And so what we want to do with that is mask it. We want to bring up that perception of sound in those frequencies so that that person is getting real sound versus this internal sound.
And like the white noise kind of thing?
Yeah, you can do, a lot of times if they have a hearing loss, we, just by simply bringing their hearing up, then we automatically make the tinnitus better. Oh. So it's, I use this analogy a lot, but it's like having a candle, and that is what you're focusing on. So that candle is your primary noise source. Okay. If you have a light and you turn the light on, all of a sudden this candle is not as
right, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So it's still burning, but you're not noticing it as much because the light's on.
Yeah, so I use that analogy a lot.
That's a really good analogy. So our timing is good that we're having the conversation today because Texas Roadhouse is doing something tonight.
There is a nonprofit organization called the American Tinnitus Association, and if you are dealing with tinnitus and you want more information, that is a website or organization I would highly recommend that people go to, and they do a lot of good for tinnitus research. And the Texas Roadhouse is doing 100% of their profits that they make on Monday is going to go to the American Tinnitus Association.
So if you eat at Texas Roadhouse tonight, for the whole day, those 100% of the profits they're going to give back. They're so good about that kind of thing. Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, it's very good.
So when it comes to what tinnitus sounds like, is it the same for everybody?
No, I remember in school they gave us this big list of different sounds that people can describe it as, and it really depends on what frequency that person is affected. So if they have a low frequency hearing loss, it's going to sound more like a seashell, more like a roar, a refrigerator running. But if it's a high frequency hearing loss, then it may sound like birds chirping or katydids or crickets. So everybody has a sizzling sound. So everybody will tell me, that their tinnitus sounds different. So.
And I'm sorry to ask you so many questions, but I have about a minute left. Does it change with each day, or like once you have it, is it stationary?
No, it changes. I will have people tell me that they have 4 different sounds that they hear, and it depends on the day. And when you have a hearing loss and a lot of different frequencies, it can fluctuate and change depending on the frequency that the brain is going after that particular day.
So is it possible if you are suffering from tinnitus right now, you may have a hearing loss and you don't know it?
Yeah, it can
because
be.
Is that sometimes the first thing that brings someone to you?
Yeah, and it can be it can be one of those hearing losses that's just high frequency. So it may not be that someone notices the hearing loss as far as the volume. It could just be a frequency specific hearing loss.
Okay. Well, thank you for the education this morning, and now we have our dinner plans for the rest of the day, courtesy of you. So you can learn more at ahlbergaudiology.com. Her phone number is 641-0956. If you are struggling with any type of hearing loss, you don't want to put it off. People far too often wait years before they get the help that they need, and no one needs to suffer that way. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Mondays always bring us the dad joke of the week, so hold on, get ready for your eye roll. Here is to Dad's corny joke. We're still telling last week's one about the fish with no eyes. Here's Jason Wright with this week's Dad Joke of the Week.
Your Dad Joke of the Week brought to you by Scenic City Neurotherapy. Everyone deserves a laugh.
Hi there, and welcome back for this week's installment of the Dad Joke of the Week. Did you hear about the evil chicken who laid deviled eggs? And the Easter Bunny, you know what his favorite type of music is? Hip hop. Thank you.
Jokes are a great way to support mental health, but at the end of the day, sometimes we need more than support. Sometimes we need intervention. Scenic City Neurotherapy is here to provide a better way of dealing with mental health issues.